Hi, it's Lyle from Made by Marley. Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be making over a dressing table mirror with the new specimen molds from IOD. Follow along and you'll see what I did.
Okay, so today is going to be lovely and sedate because I'm sitting at a table, which, when does that ever really happen? Today I'm going to be doing this dressing table mirror. I picked it up for £10, £10 in the local Salvation Army charity shop. It's got two little drawers down the bottom. It's in nice condition. Just needs a little bit of zhuzhing, I think, and a little bit of bouginess. That's all it needs. I've put some brown paper on it, but as you can see, I haven't taken it to this edge here because I'll be wanting to paint up into this edge and doing the scraping off method. I think it makes a cleaner finish. I think it's less faffing around and it never scrapes the glass when you scrape it back. So that's how I'm going to deal with that. That's why it's slightly short and it's just on there to stop the mirror reflection of the lights. So I just moved my coffee. See how sedate we are today? I'll just sit it up onto my piece. Right, what are we going to be doing? I've got a really good vision for this one, or I think I have. I've got some molds here. I have the brand new specimen mold from IOD. It's the one with the bugs in it. Let's get it opened. I haven't used it yet, and I have been desperate to use it. So this is how it looks if you haven't seen it. Just lots of bugs. Yeah, bugs. I'm going to be using with it some elements, I think, from the primitive, this is just called the primitive, is the primitive IOD mold, and the monarch mold, which is also an IOD mold. So I have butterflies, I have bugs, and I have some folky art stuff. So that gives you a kind of clue on the direction that I'm going to. I'm going to lay these out here on my table because I'm going to pour resin. Now, I asked Martin to do me some maths yesterday because I'm not mathsy.
So Martin's feeling nervous now.
I don't know.
Gave her a number.
You don't need to feel nervous because I said to you it doesn't really matter. I'm going to pour the whole of this one, the whole of the bugs one, and just some elements of this one. I really predominantly just want those leaves and maybe this flower here, but that's it. Because I'm going to try and mix and match it. If I have to re-pour some of the smaller bugs and some of the smaller butterflies for around these edges, I will do. But at the moment, Martin and I, or the lovely Martin, said, whoops, moved my bag. I'm just going to put this on here because I wrecked my last lot of scales. Put your little pot on, and I need mils, grams. I've only ever done it in grams. Did I do this to hold it down?
No, that's off.
Oh.
Right, so the other one, once it starts,
yeah.
now the left button.
This one.
This one.
Helps if you know your left from your right. My old scales were so easy. Oh, right. Okay. I'm going to have to pause it. Oh, no, right.
Don't touch anything.
Oh, it's like Poppy at the checkout scales. Right, mils. That's exactly
It's
what
on mils.
Right, I don't know how that happened, but it did. Right, so it's zeroed. Ignore my incompetence there. Now, what I want is, 50. We said 101 mils, didn't we?
Yes, just
right, so I want 50 of each. So it's the 2-part resin. Martin, what resin is this?
It's called SG2000.
It's SG2000. It's the one I use. It's a slightly more brittle casting resin than the amazing casting resin, but it's cheaper.
A lot cheaper.
Oh, so I need 100 of this.
50. Sorry,
50. It's a good job you're here, Martin. Oh, my old scales were so easy to use, and I think what happened was they either got dropped or the resin got dribbled into them. But they were the ones that I'd used
it's
for.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. I think we're both blaming each other, but nobody's really wanted to say it out loud.
49.
So the thing is, this is where it kind of.
If it goes to 51, it doesn't matter.
It lulls me. Oh, come on. Aha, 50. Oh no, it's got it 51. So I need obviously 51 of this. So I'm taking it to 102. when I get up close, I get a wee bit nervous. Oh,
Close enough.
that'll do. Right, okay, so what I've got is I cut the top off a milk bottle pot. And I'm just going to give this a really good start. The reason why is because I can go like this and squeeze it together and pour it really into some of the smaller moulds. But you have to make sure that it's all really mixed well. So I'm just doing this. I'm just using an old paintbrush that I'm happy to sacrifice to the bin. It's probably better with a sort of lollipop stick, but I went to the pot with this stuff where I keep all my gloves for my resin and everything to find them, and I don't have it. Yeah, I went and rifled through the gloves, but I didn't put them on. But if you're using resin at home, I would suggest you probably wear gloves and always use resin in a well-vented area. Why am I using resin today and not clay? I'm using resin today because I want this. I'm going to be painting these first, so let's just get with this big guy first. Keep your paintbrush or your little stick on the side because you might need to coax it in. Let's just do that just now. We'll come back to that one in a minute. I want to try and get some of this poured in first. You can always come back and top up, but now you've got plenty of time to do it, but I wouldn't be slow either, you know, just kind of go for it. Sorry, it's the way I'm doing it, Martin.
Sure.
I'll come back to some of the ones that haven't, because I want to make sure that all the resin goes in the legs. That's really quite vitally important. So let's just make sure that this one here has got the pour to get around his legs, because the bugs would be rubbish without them. Now, you've seen me pour resin before, so it's not exactly, you know, this isn't exactly setting the world alight and excitement. I understand. Oh! Whoopsie. Martin, your calculations will definitely be off now that I've done that. Dar will tell you I have a subscriber called Dar, and Dar also has lupus. And when you've got lupus, sometimes your hands have spasms. You either throw paintbrushes away or scissors away, or things just don't go to plan because your hands do this weird, wacky thing that's really difficult to control. So sometimes this is not always the most fun. Martin, your calculations are
way
well off. I hope I've got enough to do this right. I'm just going to get my little stick and make sure that I've got... Maybe you just calculated one for me. I can come back and refill them though, so don't worry about it.
Maybe that's a 200 and something.
Yeah, maybe do you know what? Maybe I halved it in my head. Did I? I think I did. I did. You said 200.
That's what it is. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter because I'm going to need a few anyway. But what I'm doing is I'm just moving this in, but I might have to come back and do a wee report on top of that one there.
I think that is what happened. I think I said to you,
yeah,
201,
and I've halved it.
100 of each.
And then I've made it 50. There's a lovely reason why you tune in to watch us. It's like, you know, it's like painting by numbers. Yeah. Now, I might re-pour this one here and just put a little bit more on it because this is going to be quite a thin bug, this one, if I don't. Anyway, I'll get on and make more resin. And I'm just going to save you having to endure all that again, I'm just going to pour these ones and the leaves and the flower from here. Okay? Okay, so I've got some matte black spray paint. I've got my moulds outside and I'm just going to spray them all black. So I'm going to get on. They're probably going to need 2 coats. It's better to do one light coat and come back as opposed to saturate them. So I'll get on and do that, and then we'll let them dry and we'll carry on to the next stage. So I've sprayed all of my bugs and they're now dry and they're sitting here ready. Martin's taken the handles, which were these small ones, off, and I am going to be putting these big ones on instead, just to give myself more real estate for painting around. When you're doing a sort of painty thing, it's quite good to have a little bit bigger. So I am going to undercoat this, base coat it with, last week when I did the stamping video, I was left over with quite a bit of this green. So I am just going to be base coating the whole mirror. I've got Martin to take the mirror part off With the old vintage ones, they just slide on and off, but the screws had to be taken off. So I'm just going to paint this with the base coat of this lovely green, because it's actually going to will probably be white. I'm going to come back over the top of it with white, but this is the colour that I'm going to be using. So just so you can see how it's going to look, I'll do a little bit more. I think I'll put my glasses on because that might help. But you can see the base coat is going to be this lovely green, right? And I want plenty of texture and brush strokes in it, so that is a good thing. And I should probably have taped that off before I did any of that without my glasses on it, but we will fix it. Right, so that's going to be green. I'm just going to set this up here and move this to the side. I'll stick it in that little cubby. Now, okay, so the mirror's had its base coat and it's dry. I'm just setting that to the side right now. Now you will see a couple of things. A, I'm wearing different clothes because it's a new day, and B, my moulds are now white, not black. I realised just to do that I'd made a huge faux pas. Sprayed them black, don't know why I did that, but now they're white, and I'll explain why I did it wrong. I wasn't thinking. I want to cover these in paper. Now, made by Marley Decoupage paper, doesn't have a smaller print, and because these are going to be really small, I was looking for something a little bit thinner, so I've got some gift wrap tissue paper here. I was looking for something with an even smaller design, because you really need a small sort of ditzy print, but this was what I had, so I'm running with it. And I went and sprayed them black yesterday because I was thinking the black will go with this, but I realised that I need to, this is the thing about how good about our decoupage paper, you don't need to spray things white or have white backgrounds, and I just wasn't thinking. I was like, oh, black, and I'll just put this on, and then realised that's not going to show up. So I gave up, went to bed, and now I'm up today going, right, this is what I'm going to do. So they've all been sprayed white now. Now, what to do is, now I've already had a little practicey run with this little small one here, which I'm just going to run you through what I've done. It's got a little bit of kind of zhuzhing up still to do, but that's a sort of practice run. So let's start with the big boys. Now I've started to cut some sections out my paper, and I quite like, I think I want to try and kind of, I'm not exactly kind of covering the whole thing. I'm kind of trying picking parts out of this because I want this particular shape on the wings. So I'm thinking something like this. I'm just going to tidy it up at this side. Now remember, you can paint round it if you think that, sorry Mary, I'm not making it easy for you this morning. Yeah, I woke up this morning, I said to Martin, I've made an error. I need to fix it. So I've just got some Mod Podge here, and let's just see how we can apply these. I think I just sat my paint in. I'm just going to put some on the lid because it's probably going to be easier for me to kind of manipulate this. I think I want them to go this way, so just covering the white. I didn't hugely care too much about how I sprayed them, just as long as the main surfaces were done, because it's all going to get painted in, but I just wasn't thinking about the whole it's got to show through kind of thing. So I'm going to apply that onto here, and I'm going to start sort of smoothing this down. I think probably you could wet your tissue to get it to go nicely onto it. Just kind of saturate it with the glue so it goes on reasonably nicely. So that's one side. I want to do the same on the other side. Something like that. I mean, it could have probably been done with cutting this a little bit smaller. I'm just going to cut a little bit off of here so that I don't have to try and push as much in at the side like I did the other side. Now, you can already see this is going to be really fiddly, and we have many, many to do. But
You'll get faster.
I'm up for the challenge. Do you think, Mary? Maybe I'll just give up halfway through. This has potential. Right, okay.
So I've got that part on, and I'm just going to make the rest stop with little parts of the pattern that I just cut off, because I still want this sort of dark. I can paint in between it if I think. Pop that bit in there, and I'll just cut a little part out of this bit here, maybe for this part here. And anything that I don't cover, I can just do it with, I can just paint round it. Now I'm going to do the same with the top and put a pattern up. Well, this bit here might be quite nice for the top, or this part here for the centre. Just get rid of this weird edge. But you understand the concept. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decoupage all my bugs, and it's going to take a bit of time, but
It's going to take a hot minute.
it is going to take a hot minute, but I think it'll be worth it at the end. Once these dry, I'll come back and I'll show you what I did, because I painted the legs. I don't want too much on this side, because this is the side that I would never ever, and I just need to make this completely clear. So you need my face to say this. I would never ever put moulds onto furniture that has been painted first. My furniture is never painted first. My moulds go straight onto my bare furniture to give it the best chance of adhesion. Because this is a decor item, I'm painting it first and I'm gluing them on, but that's not how we would ever do it. I think with pictures and small things, that's absolutely acceptable. It's not going to have the wear, the tear, or the value or the expense that a large piece of furniture is that you're selling to a client, and you want to make sure that it always stays on. This kind of thing, there's a little bit of give and take, and that's what I'm doing. So what I was trying to say was, I don't want any of the paper on the other side, because when I glue all these onto the mirror, I want them to be slick and clean and not bumpy. I want them flat glued on. I've also, when we get to it, my glue is one that dries clear for today. It's the expensive make of the cheap one that I buy from the pound shop. It's the actual brand, and you can buy it in clear. It's not much more, I mean, it's more expensive than the pound shop glue, but that way when I glue these on, I won't have any sort of, it's different when you're gluing onto furniture and there's maybe a little bit of an edge of the white, because you're going to be painting all that in. But because these are going to be painted and then applied, I want to make sure that it all dries clear and there's no big bits of glue. So you get the concept. I'm literally going to be decoupaging all these. They're tiny, some of them big, some of them small, and I'll try and pick out designs, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I did with the legs. I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to do the legs black. I'm not quite finished this one, so I'm kind of reluctant to show too much about it. I might have a little kind of change of thought, but I think maybe what I did was I just ran the black around the edges and then did the sort of legs green. I think I might do that. But you could, of course, gold leaf the legs, bronze leaf the legs. You could silver leaf them, depending on what Martin, you could. Yeah, giddy. But yeah, this is what I'm going to do. It's going to take me quite some time, so I'm just going to get on, put an audiobook on, and just do them. And when it comes to painting in their legs and things, we'll come back and I'll show you, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so that is going to take you a little while to do those, but never mind. What am I going to do next? Now, I toyed with this sort of green for the legs, but on reflection, no, that's not going to work for me. So what I've been doing is, because there's black in my, pick your main focus out of whatever paper you're covering it with, and what I'm doing is I'm just going round all the areas that are left with the white. I think this is why I decided and took the wrong turn spraying it black first off. I just wasn't thinking. Paint all those in first to kind of like reset all of the shapes. And again, that's going to take a little bit of time too, but you just have to kind of like, take your time, do all that until you have done all of them and got them sorted to the point where there's no white showing. And that's what I did with everything else. Now I'll set that to the side, because I've got one here that I've done that with.
one of my beetles. And now what I'm going to do is just going to clean my brush using a liner. I've got my gold here. I know it's in a different jar than normal. It's just that I was doing something with it the other day. So I'm just going to use the lid as a little palette. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get rid of some of the paint on my brush, is using my liner, is I'm just going to paint the legs in gold. I think this is the nicest way to do it. Just the legs. And once I've done the legs on the beetle, I'm going to just do a little bit of separation. And again, this is all going to take a little bit of time too. Quite a lot of sort of time consuming elements. When we go to put it together, it will happen relatively quickly. So I suppose it's swings and roundabouts really. If you want something to look good, well, it's worth putting the effort in. And I do like them, so I'm quite happy with what I've done. I had initially tried it with a sort of paler flower, just kind of off camera, but I thought this would make it, you know, I did say I wanted to kind of bougie the mirror up, and I think this is the way to do it. So you understand, you're just painting in the legs gold. And once I did that, I just took my gold and just kind of just gave it a little bit of definition here along the centre, and here. And if you compare this one to this one, this is how I want them to look. I can see there that needs a little bit of tidying up. But yeah, just paint in the gold. I did a little bit of gold at the bottom and just do that. Okay, so let's get to the mirror. My original plan was to make this a lighter, but on reflection and looking at the bugs, I think I'm going to go a little bit darker. So nothing's lost because this was a base coat anyway, and I had to use up the paint. So, and that's a good way of getting rid of, if you've used paint and you don't want to waste it and you're going to be putting a base coat on, then just use whatever in your containers that you have. Now, what colours I'm going to be doing, I've got, do you know, I'm having brain fade this one. Amsterdam green and Athenian black. I'm just going to put a little bit less of the black on, and I'm going to just kind of blend it. I'll just move this forward. Can you hear the birds cheeping outside? That's a sign of spring. I'm just going to kind of moisten those up a little bit and just spray my brush as well. It's not quite a blending, it's just more of a sort of a mingling and a melding. Let's just call it that. So we know we've got our base coat on, so we're not too worried about that. Let's just get some paint on it and see where we go. I'll start with this top. I want a sort of darker edge, so I'm just going to dip in the darker paint for around here. Now, whether this I come back and do this gold or what I do, I don't know yet. We shall see. I'm just going to come along here with some of this dark first. There we go. I'm coming down with a cold, and all I can say is it's my granddaughter. Again. She was off school last week, and now because we look after Oscar, it's been kind of brought over to our house, so now I have it too. Typical. I don't want the black to overpower this, but I do want my sort of edges. Can you notice I'm not so much blending them as just melding them together with my brush. My brush is quite a soft blending brush, and it's quite a good one for doing this kind of thing. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the front edges are darker than...
I was going to say just a minute ago on camera, that looks black, and then I was like, it is black.
Yeah, it is black at the front and it's green on the top, Martin, but I don't know if you'll be able to catch it.
It's catching it. Yeah.
Is it catching it? Mm-hmm. Now, I just want to finish this top part to show you what I'm going to do, because I want to put a little bit of a sort of lighter area in the middle. I think. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with this, and I'll do like the parts going up as well. I'll put sort of darker in the edges and lighter in the middle, but I just want to get over this side before I go any further. I know this is slightly boring, but it's just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. There we go. Something like that. Just move that out of the way. I'll have to change directions. I mean, I'll get this part here off camera in a minute. So we've got kind of darker, and we've got our green on it, and I'm just going to kind of slightly touch, put a little tiny part of Versailles. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I can't even remember the names of my paints. I'm just going to moisten
Don't worry,
it.
I've got you.
You've got me, Martin.
Yeah.
Now. Thank goodness you've got me. Thank goodness. So I'm just kind of dipping in this. And I just want a sort of highlight in the middle. So let's just kind of meld this into... Just going to keep going until I need some more of the Amsterdam green. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of highlight it and kind of do a sort of cloudy sort of blend in the middle here just now with my dark going around the edges. I am going to do the whole mirror like this. I've taped off the inside here, so but this edge here would be dark, obviously, the darker, the blacker colour, because then when I put the drawers in, they're going to be going up to the green. So if I make this dark here, just work it along here. I've taped it off so I know that it's not going to be too... It's always a kind of top tip, tape off the inside there if you've got something like this, because if people want to take their jewellery or whatever they have out of it in the box, then they can see that it's all nice and tidy on the inside, and that kind of counts. So if I take one of the drawers, I'm going to be wanting... I'm just going to change brush now. We've showed you this ugly, horrendous brush before, but this is my I really don't have words for it. It's just my brush, right? So when blending, you need water to blend. You're never going to get your paint to blend otherwise. You're just not. So you need to start with your dark, round your edges. Sorry, Mary, I'm at a really wacky angle today. I think it's because I'm sitting down. Somebody's got to have me today. Right, okay. Making sure that the paint is moist.
There is a silver lining to Lel feeling sick. She always gets really cuddly when she's feeling sick. I'm
not normally very cuddly, am I, Matty?
You know, but you get exceptionally cuddly when you're not well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's TMI.
Excellent day for ammo.
TMI, Martin. They don't need to know that I'm not a cuddly person. Everybody thinks that I'm really outgoing, and I think it's because I'm on the YouTube channel that everybody thinks that I'm the really outgoing. If you met me, I'm actually really quiet. It's really funny.
One thing I would not describe you as is really quiet.
Yeah, but I'm not like you. I'm not very, I'm not confident the way you are. But yeah, I'm cuddly today according to Marin. I'm just going back with this one just to kind of blend that through my drawer. This is just going to set quite a nice scene to put our moulds on, I think.
Yeah, that's a nice colour.
Yeah, something like that. I think I maybe would like an even lighter highlight in here. Just a little bit. You just need just a little bit. Just mingle them together with the water, and people will say, I don't know how to blend, but it just naturally kind of happens. But I do think some of it's to do with your paint choice. And I was saying on the live last night, when we were talking about paint, I was saying, Annie Sloan is so easy to blend. It's just easy peasy. There. Now, when I pop this in here, it should make a little bit of sense. Now, I'm going to paint the insides of the drawers cream because we're going to use the paper that we decoupaged the the bugs. We're going to do it with that. So can you see how that's all going to start to take shape? By putting the highlight in the middle and having the darker edges here, it makes it have dimension. And I think we'll come back maybe with some gold in here as well. So, ooh, bougie. So I'll get going and doing the rest of the mirror, and then we will start. Oh, this has to be completely dry. And the glue I'm using, as I was saying, you know, I use the it's called No Nails glue, but it's the cheap pound shop. It's the take on this. This is
That's the real deal.
this is the real one. Yeah, and this is the expensive one, but I got this one yesterday for $4.97, I think, which is quite good for No More Nails because normally it's about £7 or £8. And this is the invisible for indoor use, and it says it can glue like bench weights to I don't know what it's gluing it to, but yeah, there you go. You see them on the adverts. You can put up your kitchen cupboards allegedly with them. Yeah, this is the glue I'm going to be using, but this has to be completely dry. And when this is completely dry, we'll start gluing on our molds, and then we'll start thinking about how we're going to decorate this, what we're going to do to it to really just make a lovely sort of really nice piece of furniture. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to make you watch me glue these all on, but I want to show you my positioning. This is my positioning for the top. I'm not going to put anything in here in case they want to put like nail varnish or jewellery or just a bottle or I don't know. So I'm just leaving that blank. I pondered not putting this on as well, but I thought, eh. So that goes around there. The little bug, these are not attached. I just put them on so that I know where the sort of positioning is. They're upside down at the moment because I just painted the inside of the drawer cream because we'll be decoupaging that to match these. So they've been done with the little bugs, and this is my positioning for my mirror. Now, what I will say, and this is a wee top tip, everything fits on apart from this little edge of this butterfly here, which I'm going to glue on. Remember, it's a mirror that's going to reflect back, and you will see if you don't paint this black. So I need to go back and paint the back of this one black, so that when the mirror is shining on it, it's black. And the same with this little part here on this one as well. It's not much, but it's enough that these little things are spoilers. Now, and the two big beetles I've put on either side, and they're going to go on the side like that. So we need to glue these on before we can get any further in our designs. So probably the best way to do it is with a little piping bag, but I don't have any at the moment. I keep meaning to get more. I knew this was good. See, you can tell this is the professional stuff because you have to cut the end off it. Right, okay, so it starts white, but obviously it dries clear. I've got an acrylic brush, so one of those little rough brushes. Now, this is not kind of like gluing when you glue your molds on. You still need to touch all of the surface, but you can't over glue them. Now, if there are any parts of mine that gets over glued, when it's clear, I'll come back round with my green and I'll touch up round, but I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. So I need to make sure that I am touching all of the surface, but I'm not overloading them either. So, and then just pop it into place and get your position right. And literally, now that I've shown you all my positioning, literally I'm just going to go round the whole lot of my mirror, doing exactly what I'm showing you now. I always think it's a good idea when it comes to design to do your positioning first. So that way you know where it's all going to go, you know it's all going to work. Sometimes when I'm just moulding onto furniture, I just kind of go for it, but I've got a larger surface area to deal with then, and I think I enjoy this sort of fun of putting them together when moulds are made out of clay. But this takes a little bit more, dare I say, precision. It's not a word I do, Martin, is it?
Not really.
No.
No.
You can hear the horror in his voice. Now, I just want to check my, yeah, the knob is. I can see a little bit of white there, but it will, as I said, it will dry clear. So I'm not going to make you watch me glue every single one of these on, because that would be very boring. But just remember, when you put them on, position them in straight and then and really push them down. And then I would recommend, this is good to go in 15 minutes, but it's not properly curing until the next day. So I won't going to be touching this for about half an hour before I move on to the next step, just so that I'm not bumping anything or moving anything. And that's how that will, it's upside down, obviously. That's the right way up. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Do you like that, Mike?
I do.
There you go. Military precision. Right, I'll get on and I'll glue the rest. Okay, so I'm going to tackle the drawer fronts first. And I'm going to be doing a gold line down my drawers all the way around the part that sits up. Sorry, I'm concentrating, my hands start shaking every time the camera comes out. So that's going to go all the way around. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint leaves, but the vein in the middle I'm going to leave the colour underneath. So like this. And I'm just gonna give them some movement all the way along the outside gold band that I'm applying around the edges. I'm using a liner, I'm using gold paint. When you can see how much my hands are shaking, I'm trying not to wobble them about. This is probably the best position to film it in, but just kind of alter them in sort of size as well. So some small ones, maybe different directions. Oops. Long one again. Until you've gone all the way around your square and then filled your leaves in all the way till your drawer front is finished. When that's done, just do some little of varying sizes. My hands are really shaky. Like this, in between your leaves, all the way around till it looks like this one here. I was going to get to that. I thought, oh, if only I could just show them without having to go through the shaky hand thing. So this is what's going to happen with the drawers. These are both going to be the same. I've just hit that one off there by mistake. I'll have to fix that. Till the drawers are done. Then we'll set the drawers aside and we'll start doing some pattern in amongst the moulds on the top and on the mirror. Okay? I don't have a particular plan for painting around these, but I'm taking it from the little gold that I've put in the drawers. Martin, is there any way you could show them the drawers, or is it just... So the drawers are both in right now. They're just sitting there while I do this mirror part. So it's going to be leaves and some sort of kind of round the edges. So I'm just going to kind of go for it and see what happens. A bit of sort of freestyle painting is quite good. Plus you're making your work your own. It's original to a certain degree because, yeah, people can do the moulds and everything, but how you decide to kind of design it is up to you then. There. I think I kind of want like a sort of fluted almost edge to my mirror, so I'm just going to do something like this. work along here now. Just do my little line first, I think. And this is all I'm going to do, all the way around the edge. Oops. There's where the glue is drying, it's obviously a little bit shinier than the matte surface, but when I seal this, that shiny where the glue is should dissipate. I'm not too concerned about it at the moment. Not yet, anyway. Something like this. And then I'm just going to do my little sort of spots because that kind of ties in. Not many. Ties in with the drawers. And I'm just going to create a little fancy sort of my own kind of take on a border round. I think what I might do is, I'm at a funny angle him, I might just do the gold on this side as well. So like that. I have no idea why my hands are so shaky today. But they are. Something like that. Just finish it there and finish it around the edges. I'll get Martin to come back when I go to do the top because it's going to be the same, but it might be a sort of different kind of affair when we get up there. Okay. I'm kind of jumping about. I'm going to show you the mirror and everything in a minute, but I just thought I would take the tape off and show you me pop in the paper in the bottom of the drawer. If I can get it off. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit stuck in the edge here. Oh, for goodness sake. If there wasn't a camera on me, that would have been fine. Right, okay, so just that tape I can't use again. I'm just using some of my French Sheet Tough Coat, top coat. I'm just going to pop it in here. It's just for this tissue paper in the bottom. I'm just going to, obviously I painted it cream so that it would show up. I'm going to be sealing the whole of the inside of the drawer anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Kind of get it, best to kind of get it down. Just use these to kind of pull that back out a minute. I think my biorhythms must be off.
Mine were off yesterday. I was spilling everything everywhere.
And I just apply that so there's no wrinkles. I'm a bit short there, but I'll just paint a little bit of black on that. And when that dries, that'll be nice so they can wipe it out if they put makeup in it. You ever had that when you... And if you buy one of these and it's got makeup in it, if you use nail varnish remover and a little bit of cotton wool, it'll get the makeup out the bottom of the drawer. Or pens, it's good for pens. So you can see that's nice and smooth. And I'll just fix that little bit with some black paint. So that's what I'm doing with the inside of the drawers. Let me just set that over there just now. You can see I've done the top and round here, and we're going to get to the mirror in a minute. But before we do that, I decided to go with the smaller handles. I think the big ones now look too clunky for my design. So what am I doing? I've just picked out some of the pattern from the decoupage paper, and I'm literally just cutting out this little flower. Now I'm going to have to paint back round it in black to make the flower show up, but I had to obviously paint the front of the little pools cream first just so it did that. There we go.
I think it's raining.
I think it is raining, man.
I've just put my washing out.
So you have. You have. Right, so I'm just going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to put a little bit of this sealer on it. Grab my little flower. Stick it on. Make sure it's completely smooth, and I'll come back and I'll paint over it round that edge with some black paint. I think I'll do this part here gold, but that's all I'm doing with these. I've got the other one as well, it's here. Bit of sealer. There we go. Bit of sealer to seal that in. Right, just let those dry before we can come back and paint around them black. Set those to the side. Now, set that to the side. Pull my mirror off of here and slide this back. Oh. Right, so just to finish off, I think it's probably better doing it this angle. Just to finish off what we were actually doing with the gold. I'm just going to put some gold in here. I just want to kind of water that down a little bit, just to help it move a little bit. It's a water-based gold, so right, okie doke. And I'm just following along from where I've been before. I think what I'll do this time is I'll do maybe a little bit of a sort of fluted edge, since it's the top of the mirror before I put the leaves on. So something like, or like that, not something like it. Martin's always saying it when I say something like it, and I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think I might do.
There we go. Just bring that down to this edge here. Once I've got past the mould stage, the rest has happened pretty quickly. The labour intensive part of this is decoupaging the moulds and getting them all ready. Now, so if I do that here, I want to do some leaves. Around here like that. And this is just going to have its gold line, this edge here, and I'll do the leaves coming. Just so it's all cohesive. Not a funny angle for that. So you can see what I'm going to do now. I mean, I'm just kind of finishing off this. Now, once I have done this, I'll come back one last time so I can show you just how I finish off the handles. Then I'll be sealing it with my French sheet tough top keeler. I can never say it. And then I've got, maybe I might put some trim around this edge of the mirror. I've been kind of looking at it, but I want to seal it first. But I've got some trim and I thought maybe that might look quite nice. So I'm just going to do this and just finish this part off and make it all work with the rest. And then we will get to doing that. So I said I'd come back and show you the handles, but I forgot. So I painted around the little flower with the black, and I did the gold in here. Now the whole piece has been sealed inside and out. Now all the drawers and everything have been done. However, I have some of this in my stash, and I thought, well, why not? So I'm just going to put, this is, can't remember the name, but I know it's a Hocus Pocus transfer. It's a funny one, this one. It's one of those ones that kind of, you know, just thought it would give it something even more. like it doesn't have enough. So I'm going to be putting these little kind of, well, what are we calling them? Feathery things?
Yeah.
Yeah, little feathery things on the side of the drawers. And I've got my hot glue gun warming up because I am going to, what's the word? Trim. I'm going to put trim on. Now, as I said, the piece has already been sealed. These are always really funny ones, these ones. They're not like kind of like transfers. They kind of come off like this. You see the kind of, I think they must be like the redesign ones, but I've not used those. So I just thought when
Bit
somebody,
nice though, eh?
I thought when somebody opens that up, they'll go, oh, look at that, glorious. Anyway, I'm going to do these on both sides of the drawers. But let's just set that to the, where am I going to put it, Matt? I'll set it up there just now. Right, and move this out of the way while I show you my, it's the same trim. It's the very last part of the trim that I've been using quite a lot recently. Now, there will be people that go, oh, but this won't be able to be dusted, but it will, because see, although this is already sealed, I'm just kind of tidying up this end. You can, once you've got this applied, if you spray it with spray sealer, it's then wipeable. So for those that are always a little bit like, I mean, dusting's a foreign thing to me really anyway, but you know, if that's your want in life, yeah. I'm going to glue this on here. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me do this whole thing, namely because I did this and I didn't bring enough glue through. I'll just see if I can get enough glue to get to this edge here. I just thought it would finish it off. I think if you know what I'm like, if it's worth doing, you're going to do it, aren't you? We'll go till my glue gun stick runs out. I do have those little sticky things that go on the end of your fingers for those that decide to comment, but they're over at the stable. And if you have hot glue strands at the end of this, if you just get your heat gun, your heat tool, and just run it over it,
They vanish.
they'll just melt away. You don't need to worry about them. I've just thought it would, do you know what? I just thought it would add a little bit of kind of even more grandness. And it
does.
It now, I bought it for £10. And I think it'll be a really nice addition that somebody's house is looking for something really kind of different. Oh, that's the end of our glue, right? So I'm going to go all the way around with this, and the next time you see this beauty, it'll be all ready for staging.
Okay, so it wasn't very complicated. We cast our moulds and I decoupaged them. I added a lot of gold, a little bit of hand painting, a little bit of braid. And that was it. A nice way to upgrade. I mean, how many times do you see these in charity shops? A lot. So it's a nice way to kind of upgrade something, make it a little bit more bougie and a little bit more modern, and have a lot of fun doing it as well, because these are quite nice projects. I'm not going to talk too much because I'm losing my voice. At the very end, I put some of the gold transfer that I put inside the drawers, just a little accent at the top there. And man, I'll show you those when he does the walk around with the video. So I've been Lyle from Made by Marley. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. And if you have, could you give it a like and a share and a thumbs up? And please don't forget to subscribe. And myself and the lovely Martin will see you again next week. Won't we, Marty?
We will.
Martin has his voice. We're all good.
I do.
Okay.
Poor Lel.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.